Welcome back to another exciting episode of Still New York. I'm your host, Jana Bernard, and today we bring you another incredible New York City artist, Colin Bates. Even though he's located in New York City now, he has worked around the world in French films and also on the West End, starring as the title role in Billy Elliot. But today we're going to be talking about his exciting Broadway debut. But before we do, we're going to give you a New York City fun fact of the day. And keeping with our Broadway theme, this fact is about Broadway seats. So, did you know that the audiences in Broadway shows often don't have a row I in the seats because they want to avoid disappointing audience members who think that they might be sitting in row 1? Interesting, right? So there's no I in theater, and there's also no I in most Broadway audiences. And now we take you to our exciting interview with the incredible Colin Bates. Hello, Colin. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I hear
I'm in New York.
You are definitely in New York because I hear the authentic sounds of the city.
Oh yes, the construction and the horns and the people yelling and
the random guy yelling at me down the street. The ambulance sounds raging in the background.
Exactly.
There's simply nothing like it.
Oh gosh, it's so relaxing. It was perfect timing.
I know. But no, this is good. It proves you're in New York because we have exposed brick and we have random street sounds. There's
Great.
No better proof that you're in New York. And obviously you can see the city skyline behind me.
That's a great view.
In New York.
I think I'm down there somewhere.
This is where Colin.
That's where I am. I'm down there.
So thank you seriously so much for joining us today. And we're so excited to have you to talk about all of the things and to get to the point where we get to congratulate you on your recent success, but we'll get to that later. Let's start with New York. Let's start, when did you move to the city? And when you moved here, kind of what was the reason, what was the expectation in coming to New York City?
Well, I came to New York as a kid and like saw some Broadway shows. I was like a dancer and I wanted to be on Broadway. So I like came to New York here and there and blah, blah, blah. But when I moved to New York was when I was 19 and I got into the Juilliard school.
Very nice. Very nice. I've heard of it.
So I went to Juilliard when I was 19 and I basically lived in New York during that time. For 4 years. And then since then, I've lived on and off in New York the entire time. And, full on 2 years here, 3 years there, but then like always back and forth. But yeah, my first 4 years in New York was at Juilliard. And it was just, it was a weird New York because I was in a little bubble up on the Upper West Side, like at the Lincoln Center.
Yeah.
And so I didn't get to like explore New York very much. I was kind of like in the Juilliard building, but also seeing like amazing shows. We got to see a lot of Broadway shows and we got to do a lot of like things at the Lincoln Center and that was cool. And then we like lived like uptown, like in Harlem, but like I never got to go to Brooklyn or like really explore downtown or anything. It was pretty tame New York. And then I got out and got to see New York.
This is when I played piano, guys. I don't play piano. I am a comedian, but this is where if I did play piano, I would start playing the dreamy music as you started talking about your
and I walked on the streets. I crossed the Brooklyn Bridge for the first time. Exactly. That's what happened.
Amazing. Maybe in post we'll put the piano.
Yeah, the music. Yeah.
So what was when you were at Juilliard, what did you study? You said it again?
I studied acting. No, I studied
Okay, okay,
acting.
great.
Yeah. Yeah. But by that time in my like life, I was like, okay, I don't want to be a dancer anymore.
Gotcha.
I think it's time to be an actor. Actually, to be honest, I got into Joffrey Ballet in the pre-company training, basically, in the junior company, in the Joffrey Ballet. And then I got into Juilliard and I had to choose between dance and acting. And I was like, ah, acting. And, uh,
Wow.
so I went for drama.
Was that a difficult decision for you to make?
Uh, well, it was pretty clear. It was like Juilliard, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to Juilliard," and yeah, and I just felt like even then, as a kid, as a a young adult, I was thinking of. I just knew that acting was a more a longer career, and I could always have movement a part of it, and it's always I danced so much as a kid that it's such a part of me, that it's never going to go away. I'm just not full on a dancer. I'm not taking class every day, but I still do dance for projects sometimes, and yeah, it's a part of my life. So
Cool.
yeah.
And having studied at Juilliard, what do you think? Do you think that set you up for where you are now? Do you think that that was those years were formative in who you are as a performer, as a person? What was kind of your takeaway from that experience? Like, can you tell us a little bit more about your time at Juilliard?
Yeah, just Juilliard was it kind of Juilliard's like this weird thing, and I'm gonna be honest with you. You get in there, right? And then it kind of like what it does to people, and what it did to me and a lot of my classmates is like we got in there and it kind of they saw what you were good at and they were like, okay, put that away. Let's do everything that you're not good at, and like let's challenge you. Let's not praise what you're good at. I hate to say this, but let's not praise what you're good at because you can already do that. That's a given. And let's go and like I was playing like six different characters in a play, and I was like playing like the old men in the plays and like all that kind of stuff when I had just like done Billy Elliot the musical on the West End and like was like a little singer dancer boy, and they like saw that I was like ready to be like the leading man, and then they were like, nope, you're just gonna be I had a nickname. My nickname at school was Bit Part Bates because I had all the little parts. I'd be like, hey, what'd you do? I'd be like, and then I'd be like, change and put a hat on and be like, I'm okay. You know, I was just like the crazy like back and forth. And of course, yes, it shaped my I think I'm so glad I went because it really made me embrace the fact that I'm like developing to a character actor, and I'm getting to do a lot. I'm now Bit Part Bates in my life, and I'm getting to jump around just during COVID. Like I've done I did this movie where I played like royalty in the south of in this French movie. I played
Wow.
like this prince, and then I played a criminal on FBI Most Wanted where I was like blowing people up and like getting into like doing some eco-terrorist stuff. And then I played a drug dealer in this other thing, and then I just played like this Russian kind of thing. I can't really say that on the Blacklist. I did a little thing on and like all different characters. And so Juilliard really made me embrace that, but it was hard at the time, I must say. I was like, what is going on? Let me do this. And they were
Let
just like,
me live.
yeah, let me live. And they just like made me they just like calmed me down a little bit, and they're like, okay, we got this,
Yeah.
and they challenged me. And but yes, it's completely changed my it shaped my career and the community that my friends and my co-artists and the Juilliard community. It's just awesome. It's very large and beautiful and supportive, and
That's
it's great.
awesome. That's incredible to hear. And I think that what I'm hearing from you is also so cool because it sounds like, especially as somebody who's done musical theater, it sounds like you've truly not gotten typed, so to speak. Like it sounds like you have been able, because of your training at Juilliard and all these different roles you've gotten to play, whether it be on FBI or whether it be in plays or whatnot, is you really sound like you are a chameleon, which is so exciting because like that's what you hope an actor to be, is not to just play themselves over and over again or versions of their type. It's like to actually be bit part Bates
Yeah, yeah.
in one arena and then be able to jump into a chorus line the
Yeah.
next second and then also be able to be a spy like that.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
is, I think, a true testament to the real job of an actor is
Yeah.
on another character.
Yeah. And so Juilliard really it helped me do that, but I didn't realize it at the time. And it took me 4 years or more to even realize that it was actually a good thing, because you get out of school and you're like, I'm gonna do so good. And then it like pumps you up to like that it's gonna be like, you know, like everything's gonna be chill, everything's gonna be easy. I'm just gonna be on Broadway right out of school. It's gonna be awesome. And then you're like, oh, okay. And then fast forward to 5, 6, now almost 7 years later, it's really coming together and it's full circle. And it's like, oh, that's what that was for. And like, I'm just so happy that I had that, It was just, it was perfect. It was really perfect, but it
So
didn't seem like it at the time.
right. And I think like the hindsight too of being like, oh, I had to work on strengthening my weaknesses as opposed to strengthening my strengths more has actually helped me in the long run.
Yeah.
For where you are, for where you are now, can you tell us a little bit about what you are working on now and what exciting next project you have in store or performances?
Yes. So I am, I just found out a couple like last week that I'm going to be doing Girl from the North Country on Broadway.
Yay!
Which is the Connor McPherson play with Bob Dylan music. So it's kind of this perfect weird hybrid where it's not really a musical. It's kind of this like weird, like kind of like a Chekhov play, but like but then like with like Dylan's like soulful, beautiful music, like thrown in there and mixed in. And it's really cool. And I did it in London on the West End, like 2 years before COVID. And I did it in Toronto, a little stint in Toronto. And then so Connor just contacted me and was like, do you want to be a part of the Broadway revival, basically? Yeah.
So exciting.
So I'm really excited. And I play a very different character from my other things I've been doing this year. I play this artist in the Great Depression who's kind of an alcoholic, and he's just like having a hard time, but it's much different from what I've been doing. And again, I get to be a chameleon. And
so one could say that you went from bit part Bates to Broadway parts.
Broadway Bates, Broadway bit Bates.
Broadway Bates. Broadway Bates.
Yeah.
Learning how to sing and dance.
Exactly.
That's so exciting, and congratulations. That is so amazing. At the risk of sounding like somebody who worked for Disney, which I did, how does it feel to be achieving your dreams?
It's kind of surreal. It's really amazing. I've ever since I was a kid, honestly, I saw Billy Elliot the movie when I was a kid, right? And I told my dad, I was like, if they make a musical out of this or whatever on stage, I want to do this. And so I seeked it out and I did achieve my dream. I ended up doing Billy on the West End, and that was amazing and whatever, right? But my true dream was to always do like anything on Broadway, because I just, I think there's like this, like even when I did it in London, when I did Billy in London, I was like, I'm half English, but I don't have that much family over there. I just a very small amount of family. And like a lot of my friends and family couldn't come and see it. It was very like a kind of lonely sort of thing. I like went to London, lived there for a couple of years and like did this show, and it was amazing. But now I'm seeing why all along that I wanted to do Broadway, because I'm just, it's all coming together, and like my friends, my family, from all over the country, and from the world. I'm sure people will come from England and wherever else. People, New York, people centralize in New York. People are always passing through New York. People come to visit New York. People vacation in New York. People see friends in New York. So it's like this kind of thing where I get to do this show, 8 shows a week. Well, 6 in the beginning because of COVID. We'll get there. But where I'm just going to be a part of this like community where I get to see a lot of friends and family, and where it's not like a hard thing for people to come and see a Broadway show. Do you know what I mean? So I'm just super excited. Sorry, that was a really roundabout way of saying it's just like I'm just overwhelmed. I'm overwhelmed. I wanted to do Broadway since I was a child, and it's just amazing, and it's just amazing.
Congratulations. Genuinely, that is incredible. And you have clearly put the work in. So what I love so much about your story is that it seems as though your purpose and your hard work now have just coalesced into this moment in time where you
Yeah.
get to now kind of breathe and be in that moment and just soak it up. Like,
Yeah.
that's so incredible. And I love what you said about New York being like, everybody comes to New York. And I think that, the West End is beautiful and incredible to see shows. I've seen shows there and they put on amazing shows. Something so magical about New York City. And there's something so magical about New York City and Broadway. And I think that just getting to be there and finally do that is going to be so exciting for you and your family and friends, of course, to see you. And I can't wait to see you. I'm going to come see you.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, and I don't know what the magic of Broadway is. I don't understand. You can't like put your finger on it. You know what I mean? It's like, it just feels like it's because it's in New York, maybe. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And I think that there's something about being on the stages and doing the same craft that so many incredible performers have done before.
yeah,
That is also kind of like passing the torch, so to speak. Like, you get
yeah,
to be on the stage and also at the stage in your life where you get to be putting on spectacular performances for so many people every day. And what's so incredible, I think, is that the same way that you were talking about how you wanted to play Billy Elliot and you went to shows as a child in the city, you don't know who's in the audience watching you
right.
thinking, wow, I can't wait to do what Colin is doing.
Yeah, I think it has that kind of thing. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So going back to what you had said before real quick, about 6 shows at the beginning. So how has COVID affected your personal process and shows for your upcoming Broadway debut?
Well, all I know, I don't really know much right now. I think they're still sorting it out, but all I know is it starts at 6 shows a week for a few months. And then I think by December or January, it's then 7 shows a week. And then by February, it's full on 8 shows a week again. And I don't know why. I think maybe to like see how it goes, and like, so they don't have to sell out all 8 shows. But I think it'll come back strong. I think people are, when I tell people I'm doing a show on Broadway, they're like, oh my God, I can't, like, they just like can't wait to like the Broadway Renaissance, you know what I mean? It's like coming back. And I think, yeah, I think people are dying to go see theater. And so I feel like they're going to be like sold out for those six shows and be like, oh, maybe we should add some more.
Absolutely. And I think because people have had like this theater deficiency, this live performance deficiency for so long, they're going to appreciate it even more because they haven't had it for a long period of time. And that kind of, I feel like, might be great for you too, is like, you get to kind of ease into the show too.
Yeah.
6 performances a week.
Oh, totally.
Before you go to 8.
Yeah, no, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be perfect.
Wow. We are so excited for you. Can we end on a quick question for those younger performers maybe watching, or those aspiring to head to Broadway in their careers, what is your advice for young artists and actors?
My advice is to like really carve your own path. I know it sounds really stereotypical, but really, really to carve your own path because it will lead exactly where you want. And like I always wanted to do international, like work internationally and stuff like that. And of course, I wanted to work on Broadway too. But like the whole people said that like, oh, if you work internationally, it's not really gonna like matter here. It's not gonna work out here. It's gonna whatever. And I've been working over the last few years in France as well. And I do French movies and speak French and stuff. And then I've been doing plays on the West End and kept up the England thing. And that has all led to this interesting path that I'm carving out that has then led back to Broadway and what I really want. Do you know what I mean? But if you,
Absolutely.
so, and there's no like one path, but I really think for young performers, just to carve your own path. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Do what you
absolutely.
want to do. Just do what you want to do. And honestly, like I hate to say, but just like don't listen don't listen to your agents. Don't listen to friends and family. I hate to say it, but like it's true. Like I lost agents dropped me because I was doing stuff in France, and friends and family doubted the fact that I was going away to do this and to do this short film or this independent film or whatever. And it's all like led to this well-rounded career. And now I'm coming back and getting into the American community through Broadway through something that I did in London. Do you know what I mean?
Right, right. As long as you are following your passion and you're doing it in a purposeful way
Yeah.
that aligns with your career goals and your dreams, I think that will put you right, as you said, where you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
We're so excited for you, and thank you so much for joining us today, Colin. This is such a lovely interview, and we can't wait to see you on Broadway.
Woo!
Woo!
Do-do-do-do-do.
What?
Do-do-do-do-do. And music off. Do-do-do-do.
Yeah.